Hello and welcome back to the Anime Club, the club where we talk about animes that we've been recently watching, viewing and enjoying. Let me know what you've been recently watching and enjoying, and if you've seen what I'm about to talk about, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. I've just finished the One Piece arc, Arabasta, and I had so much fun with this arc. I absolutely loved this arc. It's got me hooked even more on One Piece than I was before, and I'm so excited for the journey ahead. Starting off, this was the first trip into the Grand Line. This was them entering, which was so cool with reverse mounting. I loved seeing that, and them just finally entering the Grand Line was such a great feeling. I've spent what was almost 100 episodes by that point with this team, and to see them finally get to the essentially what is the beginning of their journey just had me with a massive smile on my face. To then be greeted by a giant whale was interesting, but what a great start. Coming across Whiskey Peaks, which essentially kicks off the entire thing. It's where they meet Vivi, which as a character I absolutely love and adore her. She's brilliant and just such a great little side character to the crew, and a great addition almost. She is not a member, but she's an honorary member of the crew, and I love that. I feel like this was a section that really made me love Zoro as a character. While I loved him before and I thought he was great, I always sort of was waiting for a little bit more, and to see him essentially take on everyone in Whiskey Peaks on his own was brilliant, and I loved it, and getting to sort of have my first introduction into Broke Works and the corruption that is going across Arabasta, and getting my first hints at people like Crocodile. I loved this, it intrigued me and got me so unbelievably sucked in from what was the first couple episodes. The adventure on Little Island was brilliant. The first sort of look at the numbers and the organization that Crocodile has built, getting to see number 3 and also getting to have our first look at more of the devil fruit powers. This was a really interesting one. A wax man. On first sort of thought, that's not a brilliant power, but the fact that he had them all on a cake trying to turn them into wax, that was great. I just loved this. I loved the whole concept of the two giants just fighting on the island for years and years. A great little stop before, obviously, Drum Island, which Chopper. I've been wanting to meet Chopper for so long. Ever since I started One Piece, I've seen photos of the character, but oh my god, I didn't realize I would love this character as much as I did. Honestly, he is one of my favorites. He is adorable. He has, in my opinion, from what I know so far, one of the best backstories I have seen. It's tragic, it's sad, it's horrible, but he's such a brilliant, lovely character, and oh my god, I didn't realize that his powers were like that. You know, the photos that I've seen of Chopper were just in his like standard little cute chubby form, and then when he first walks into a pub and he's a reindeer and the doctor refers to him as Chopper, I was like, that's not the Chopper I know. But to then find out he has all these different forms made me love him even more. And I loved all these side characters as well on Drum Island. The doctor was a great addition. The guy who, I can't remember his name, but the one who they get introduced to at the beginning and essentially guides them through the island. The fights on here were brilliant. The action was brilliant. The character moments were great, and I loved this. The time spent in Arabasta was just a moment of One Piece that I've not yet experienced. Only being sort of 120 episodes in, I've not experienced a great long arc stood in sort of one place. Everything I've experienced was, we'll go to this island, something happens, we move on. But to have this whole sort of 30, if not 40 episode long piece of them just in the same place with one target, working their way through, trying to get to one town, I loved. It worked so well. The sort of different characters were met along the way, you know, the sand pirates, the old guy digging for water, and then this building curiosity in my brain of Crocodile. Who is he? What does he do? What are these 7 warlords? I have no idea, but I can't wait to find out. But then, oh, there's so much to love about this. Meeting number 2 and seeing him transform, and how brilliant it is knowing that he's an agent of Crocodile's, and yet he's just on the ship having a great laugh with the crew. And what a beautiful sort of character who was not with the crew and he was against them, to then Crocodile's demise leading to him sacrificing himself for the Marines so that the crew could get away. I love that guy. The fights involved in this were really cool. I feel like it's the first time I've seen Luffy struggle and develop as a character. Before, he's always just been, well, I will win. And don't get me wrong, he still had this aptitude. Now, he was like, yeah, listen, Crocodile, I'm still going to take you down. But it was cool to see him actually sort of take a hit and get back up. And that was great. I loved that. The emotion that I had at the end, you know, they've saved Arabasta. Vivi is now here, but it's such a sad moment that Vivi comes to say goodbye and they can't even look at her because the Marines are there. But the hand goes up and they know because they've all got the X tattoo. I might have to get an X tattoo now to be part of the crew. But genuinely, I love the relationship that they formed with Vivi. I really hope we get to see Vivi again. Obviously, I don't know. You might know. Maybe we already do. I hope we do, because what a great character. I would love to see her sort of with the crew in a few years' time. That would be absolutely brilliant. The fights in Arabasta, I mean, the standout for me would have to be number one, the steel guy going against Zoro. It's the first time I feel like I've seen Zoro sort of unlock a new ability and struggle. Being able to cut through steel. What do you mean you can cut through steel, Zoro? That is mental. I can't wait to see how that develops him further and where that takes him. I mean, he's obviously got some sort of mental abilities and I can't wait to find out what they are. But that was just a brilliant fight. Seeing Nami struggle to fight against number one's sidekick, that was great. And then the introduction of Nico Robin. So I knew that Robin was a character that joined the crew. I've seen photos of her, I've heard the name Robin in the later seasons, but when I came across her as Miss All Sunday, I was like, okay, that's just a bad guy, that's one of Crocodile's side things. But I was like, I'm sure I recognize you from somewhere. And then when the reveal of, oh, your real name is Robin, I was like, huh? It's been under my nose this whole time. Mental. I am really glad that we've got someone in the crew who is a little bit unsure. The guys, especially Zoro, isn't sure about her. She's not happy, cheery, and like, yay. She brings another element and a different sort of vibe to the ship, which is great because it sort of mixes it up a little bit. Her power is really interesting and I think could be used in very, very cool ways in the future. So I'm excited to see how her character develops. I'm excited to see how she warms up to the rest of them, and also her sort of desire to find like the history and everything is really interesting because it's to discover the lore of the land and discover the past that's been lost. I think that's a brilliant concept and I can't wait to find out more. On to Sky Island next is going to be interesting. I'm sad to leave Vivi behind, I'm sad to leave Arabasta, but at the same time I can't wait because I want to find out more. I want to find out more about the other warlords. I want to know who they are, what they do, why these warlords even came into play in the first place. I think it's such an interesting concept, and I also think we've started with Crocodile, who was essentially invincible. He was made of sand. You can't even punch him. What are the rest going to be like? If that's the first bad guy, what are the rest going to be? They're going to be tough, and I'm excited to see what Sky Island holds for me and what the next arc of One Piece entails. But yeah, let me know if you've seen the Arabasta arc of One Piece. Let me know, and I will see you next time on the Anime Club.